Hi guys, welcome to the Talking Vertical podcast with me, Richard Fox, and
me, Liam Kilsby-Steele.
Cool. It's been a while since we've done one of these. So with the lockdown, it made things a bit more challenging, and we've had to find a way to do this online. So
hopefully it sounds and looks good.
Yeah. And I can imagine a lot of other podcasts have been having this problem. But now we've sorted it out and we're back on it. So first thing to go over, what have you been doing in the lockdown?
Me, I've called it lockdown lifestyle is what I've been asking people. To be honest, just a lot of the same stuff, but without physical work. So I've been trying to push out a lot of stuff on my social media channels and just generally resetting and having a simple lifestyle. It's been nice and sunny. That's nice. What about you?
I've got back into gaming a lot because there's not really much to do. Now I'm on furlough from my job. Working from home wasn't really an option when you work at a climb wall.
I feel like that's a podcast in itself, actually. How vulnerable climbing walls can be to these things.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot out there at the moment, but I think a bit of research on that would be good. Yeah.
So I think today we're not actually going to talk anything about what's going on in the world around us. We had a podcast idea before all of this kicked off about our dream location on where we want to go climbing at some point in the near future once travel and everything is open.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a place that you got planned. It's just one place which you really want to see. I think it was the thing like.
Which now I look at the place I've picked, it looks a bit like mine's more a bit realistic than I could have gone for, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to start? I'm more intrigued about your place than my place.
So I've chosen the Grampians in Western Australia, in Victoria, mostly just because I've seen some photos of it. I've seen films where pro climbers have climbed there, and it just looks really cool area to climb. And also there's a little bit of controversy as to whether you'll always be able to climb there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so currently a third of the location has been closed for climbing. So
because of access or
access challenges with access. There's a lot of people who think climbing shouldn't be allowed in the area. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but there's a lot of stuff about denying access to the area.
It was interesting when you said that you were going to go to the Grampians. I obviously Googled it, and I didn't put the Australia part second. So there's as you probably know,
I'm not sure how to help with that.
Oh, Google's decided to tune in. Yeah, cancel. The Scotland one, and actually, there's an interesting fact. Did you know that the highest peak in the Scotland one is higher? Sorry, Ben Nevis is higher than the highest peak in the one in Australia.
No, I didn't know that, but
I would have assumed it would have been the other way around.
Yeah. Well, Australia is not really known for its high mountains.
No, I guess so. I just sort of visualised big mountains, and then it was like smaller than Ben Nevis. I was like, fair enough. It's an interesting fact. Do you know what the climb is like there? Is it just somewhere you've seen the style of climbing at?
Yeah, I've just seen a lot. I've seen quite a bit about it. There's a famous picture of some guy climbing, hanging off a overhang, drinking a beer, which looked quite cool.
I know the picture.
There's two like it. There's one in the Grampians, and then there's one in Frankenjura. And also it has quite a varied amount of climbing. Has a bit of sport, trad, bouldering, so you can get quite a lot in a trip.
Nice.
And also, would be quite cool to climb on the other side of the world.
Yeah, that's definitely. I want to go to. It's a separate place. New Zealand looks a pretty sick place to go and explore and climb and mountains. I guess mine is the opposite. Mine's actually it's sort of a dream climbing trip for me is to take a trip down to the south of France to go sport climbing, specifically in the Toulon area. But like the south of France, mainly because when I was doing my research, it's meant to be the best sport climbing location in the world. You've done a bit more sport climbing than me, so you can probably see if that's true. And it's like there's a lot of routes and a lot of varying degree of like super hard and super chill, and I love it. A lot of it's near the coast, and it's also quite easy to access. Whereas yours, you have to go around the world. I can probably drive down there or get the train. There's not many climbing locations that you can get the Eurostar 2 from London. It's like an 8-hour journey. So
I've only done the Dordogne region in France, so that's a little bit north of there. So not quite south of France, probably. I don't know whether it's classed, but it's definitely in the south half. But really good quality rock. I can see why it's a popular area.
Yeah, I think it can get quite popular with people going there because it's quite easy to get to. That's one of the reasons I picked the Toulon area. One, because it's the sunniest city in France, which I quite like the idea of climbing in the sun. But second, because it's lesser known by the British people, and there's plenty of climbing there. So I'm not a massive fan of going away and then just spending the time trying to avoid Brits.
Yeah, you got the areas of Buttes and Sayus as well, which are like the most famous, and then third on for the multi-pitch. But no, I haven't really heard much about Toulon myself.
Yeah, I kind of picked somewhere that was a bit different. It was actually Sayus that drew me to the south of France to start with, because of my injury. I wanted somewhere that had steep, harder climbing. It's probably too hard for me, the steep climbing that's there, but it was that sort of style of rock, and France is probably one of my favorite countries because it's just the wine and the cheese and the wine and the cheese.
Cool. All the things you need to fuel a climbing trip.
Yeah, like I don't intend to do any climbing, just drink lots of wine and eat lots of cheese half up a rock.
Yeah.
Cool. Where would you swap locations? If you had to pick one of the locations, would you go mine or yours?
I think I'd stick with mine just because climbing in Australia gives me an excuse to go to Australia. Yeah, it's a bigger expense, but
I'd pick yours.
Yeah,
I'd definitely pick yours because it's Australia. I guess maybe if we've got an Australian listening, that'll be amazing. They might pick France.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Also, I reckon there might be a few listeners who'd be like shocked that neither of us picked Yosemite.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't pick Yosemite. I didn't think of that. I was trying to think of somewhere that was, I don't know, places that I already like. How come you didn't pick Yosemite?
I don't know. Like, Yosemite's definitely on the list. I've been there, but only for hiking. Would love to do some climbing there. But also, it's when you go there, the climbing's actually a little bit intimidating. So
it's a very certain style, and also it feels it's quite busy there in Yosemite from what you hear. Like I've never been there.
There's a lot of logistics, so actually, it's hard to get somewhere to stay that isn't a 2-hour drive from the valley. So you're like getting up to get a full day. If you're not staying in the valley, to get a full day climbing, you're probably getting up at 5 and stuff like that. That's what I learned from being out there. But
yeah, doesn't sound my cup of tea when it comes to climbing trips. But then I'm not a hardcore climber, so. Yeah. You could have picked Patagonia as another pretty sweet location.
I think that's a little bit above my skill set in climbing.
Yeah, the Dolomites came up on mine actually, Austria.
Yeah, I did consider that as well, both the Italian and Austrian. Yeah.
But again, I don't know much about the area. I like Austria to ski in, so I assume you can climb there. I had a guidebook, but it was in Italian, so it didn't help me in researching. I was trying not to go on the internet to research. I was like, just guidebooks. And one of my guidebooks was in French and one of them was in Italian, which I don't know where I've got them from because they are no use to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, I don't know how long we're at, but that's not a bad start for a re-jumping of the podcast. No. I'm intrigued to know how it sounds, and I'll probably be able to share the video as well on YouTube, which should be nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for listening, guys. Let us know what your dream climbing location is. On YouTube, we're going to be releasing a video of the top 10 climbing locations just generally in the world, which we think people need to visit anyway, and maybe a dream climbing trip where we visit all of them. See you guys soon. I'll see you guys soon. Talk to you guys soon, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right.